For foreign artists, it's all about connection.
Get your courage, have some discipline, be motivated, and just do it.
So don't need to be rich, don't need to have like a lot of money.
How did you define your own opportunities?
You can apply for entrepreneur visa, which is very helpful. So first of all, I want to thank everybody for attending the online webinar that we have here today and the roundtable of discussion. Myself, and can you see me once? Oh, you can see. Sorry. So I'm David Costa, and I am the co-founder of my company VivirChina, which is that means I'm also an entrepreneur here in Shanghai. And just to give you a very tiny bit of background, we are a consulting company, but we don't just help foreign companies to enter the Chinese market. What we also do is we act as a bridge connecting Chinese meaningful projects with the Western world. So this is why we co-organize Meet Expat Entrepreneurs at Shanghai, which is the very project behind this webinar. So just before I talk about the forum, I would like to say that if you have any questions, please kindly wait until the end to ask, but please go ahead and write the questions in the chat because we will have a 20-minute Q&A session after the panel of discussion. So we're our guests will be very happy to answer any questions. Now the forum is put together by Meet Expat Entrepreneurs at Shanghai, which is the project organized by the Institute of Culture and Creative Industry at Jiao Tong University of Shanghai. So this is a collaboration with well-known organizations such as Shanghai Invest, Any Helper, ourselves, VivirChina, and the Tellers Tribe. So the goal of the project is to showcase foreigners who own businesses here in Shanghai and to share their experience, not just the good, but also, as I like to call it, the ugly, right? The challenges. And we love doing this because we can all benefit from learning about the entrepreneurial know-how and their practices, and through understanding, they grow to success. So for this reason, we have created also several different foreign and local Chinese video channels, such as the YouTube, WeChat official accounts that we have, TikTok, etc. So to support our project, please subscribe to these channels. I believe my colleague has already shared with you. 1 second. Yeah, she has shared with you already our information about the channels, and please, if you could, share as well the QR code to our WeChat channel and so on. And by subscribing, you actually help us a lot to be able to produce more of this content and to be able to invite more entrepreneurs to create these awesome forums, right? So without further ado, today we have three amazing guests. We have Mrs. Adina Deaku. Is that how you pronounce it? Deaku? Excellent. So she's the founder of Tianmei World Academy. Thank you, Adina, so much for being with us today here. And I think you are muted, so you can.
Oh, I thought that you would do a brief intro of everybody, and then okay, good. Hello, everybody. I'll wait for the brief intro, and then I'll start my part.
Excellent, excellent. So we have also Mr. Fernando Sanchez, which is the founder of the Paddle Club in Yuanshen Stadium, which is called Paddle in Chinese. And thank you a lot, Fernando, for coming here, for being here with us.
Thank you for inviting me. Hello, everyone.
No problem, no problem. And we also have Mrs. Alicia Valdivia. That's how you pronounce it, right?
Yes.
Alicia Valdivia, who is the founder and director of Ali Dance Academy. Thank you so much, Alicia, for taking part in the forum.
Thank you for inviting me.
Great. And so let's start with the guest speaker's self-introduction, beginning with Adina. So Adina, would you kindly introduce yourself and your company, please? If you need to share your screen, welcome to share.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Very happy to be here. And although it looks like I'm a very tech savvy person, I'm not, so bear with me. All right, so hope you can see the screen.
We can all see the screen, no problem.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. I'm Adina. My Chinese name is Qiu Tianmei for the Chinese people in the audience. 耳朵旁的那个秋，而不是秋天的秋。So I run Tianmei's World Academy, which is a network of classroom school concept. What is a network of classroom school concept? I will share in a bit. But basically, one of the things that I promote is that learning happens everywhere. And whether you believe it or not, it does. But it's just we need to kind of change our way of seeing learning and interpreting learning and looking at learning. This is me. I'm an environmental psychology researcher and consultant, and I do a lot of applied research. For those of you who are not really sure about what environmental psychology is, it is an academic discipline that studies how different environments, both physical and social, influence human behavior, mindset formation, learning outcome, work productivity, levels of happiness, you name it. Whatever decision you're thinking that you're making in a completely rational way, I'm sorry to disappoint you, you're not. The environment in which you are is influencing that a lot more than you actually think. And this is what I do, this is what I research. I'm also a social entrepreneur. For those of you who don't know what a social enterprise is, basically, a big part of my revenue goes to supporting social causes. And so I use the profits to reinvest in my own company, but also support different causes. For example, I'm currently working with autistic children. And I've also been a 4-time TEDx speaker. If you're interested in watching some of them, you can reach out to me afterwards. What is Tianmei's World Academy? Because I promised I would mention that. So it's after a lot of research in China, it has become a decentralized network of classroom school concept using environmental psychology knowledge with the aim to redefine where and how learning happens. It does so by turning any available space, whether it's coffee shops, offices, parks, streets, anything, into an alternative learning environment. But by experience the different learning environments that the Academy creates, individuals can better understand what kind of learning environments and methods are most suitable for their own individual needs, learning and self-development. So with the aim to maximize individual potential against the one-size-fits-all that we currently use either in education or business in many other places. And so, as I was mentioning, the company positioning is a mix, a hybrid between academic institution. I do applied research, and the reason for that is because a lot of the current research is found only in academia, but non-academic people don't really have access to that. And I want to be able to bring that to more people, but also social enterprise, because I strongly believe that any company's aim is not to make profit, but profit is just a consequence, but the aim is to create value for society in a financially sustainable way. And we also contribute to the achievement of SDGs 3, 4, 12, and 17. Mission, many. A lot of people recommend that the company should have only one mission. I am more ambitious. I have 5. Number 1, empower each and every individual beyond financial and geographical barriers to understand how to better create living, working, and learning environments by themselves. And so I make that framework methodology available to people. Hopefully in the future, hopefully in my line of, like, before I die, I can see that happening, becoming letting education become a right instead of a privilege. but also bridge the gap between academic research and practical application so that whatever we do, all the information that we find and all the outcomes that we get to create further value for society. Also, using environmental psychology knowledge for a more holistic, systematic approach to problem solving across industries, and also contribute to the achievement of the SDGs. As sustainability is a very, very important and actually mandatory thing that we would need to pay attention like yesterday. That's how urgent it is. My vision is that by understanding individual talent is not so reliant on individual ability, but can be harnessed through proper learning environments and methods, then we give opportunities to more people to understand what is more suitable for them against the one-size-fits-all. Values, diversity, inclusiveness, equality, cross-functional dialogue. But for me, diversity is in delivery methods. Different people need different things. So it's not about how a person learns, but whether the facilitator, the teacher can accommodate for different learning styles. And that's where we have inclusiveness to different needs, equality from starting points and access to opportunities, not that everybody should have the same thing, and cross-functional dialogue to promote systems thinking, critical thinking, creativity, and innovation. I'll go quickly just to offer or to say also how I go about materializing the missions that we have. So again, I run as a social enterprise and I provide services to the B industry, and I use the revenue obtained to create additional value for society. And the services that I offer, environmental psychology workshops and lectures, just to help more people understand how to maximize the environment in which they are for talent development. One other service that I've developed through a lot of research, and for those who are very interested in learning more about that, I'm happy to answer questions in the Q&A. Something that I call educational marketing, basically supporting companies take their marketing budget 100% and turning it into learning experiences. So basically their marketing events become a learning experience. What are the advantages of this approach? Many. I'm happy to share more in either separately or in the Q&A. And also I do ESG related consultancy and workshops. So I'll stop here. There's also a report that you can have access to if you're interested, with all the research that I've done in China across 4 years, and has been submitted to an international conference in 2020. And you can get it from the WeChat account. So the first QR code is Tianmei's World Academy WeChat account. The second QR code is my personal WeChat account. Either way, so through the WeChat account, you can get the research report if you type in the back office report, or you can connect with me personally, and I shall share with you that report as well. So I think that's for me. I mean, there could be a lot more to say, but I want to leave space for other people as well, and also discuss in the Q&A. Thank you for the stage.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Just gonna go to 1 second. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so thanks a lot, Adina. I was actually very impressed by a couple of things you mentioned. One of them is that you are supporting an autistic project, right? So you are actually trying to get more support to autistic children here, I guess, in China, which is amazing, because I actually have a couple of friends with autistic children, and they find very little help in here. So that's very interesting. And about the report, I will come back to you later after the forum. That's amazing. Thank you so much for your introduction. And can you guys see me? Okay, yeah, perfect. And Fernando, please, will you go ahead and introduce yourself and the company?
Okay, let me try to share the screen first. See if I'm able. I think this is okay.
Excellent. We can see. Yes.
Can you see?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So first of all, I'm Fernando from Spain. I'm the founder of Paddle. It's a new company who is promoting paddle in China. and in Shanghai. And going to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a building engineer. I have a master that I did all in Spain. And after in 2014, there was a kind of tough situation in Spain. So I decided to move forward, change the path. So I decided to study an MBA, and then I came to China with an international program. And well, I will tell you about the paddle. First, I will explain you more or less how was my path very quickly. So I arrived to China with a lot of ideas after the MBA, with a totally business mindset. I wanted to create my own company. I was looking for opportunities everywhere. And I think this happened to many people when they arrive to China, that you see opportunities everywhere, but you you are very far to get them, because actually it's quite difficult. So then I started to work for a Chinese company for 3 years. I was traveling a lot to Colombia doing business development. Then I changed. I moved to Shanghai because I was living in Nanjing in the beginning. Then I moved to Shanghai, changed to another company. I was working on interior design, which was my previous work before I decided to come to China. And then I was traveling quite a lot to South America, but also in China, knowing a lot of people. And I learned a lot of things about Chinese culture and business culture. So basically, all those ideas that I had when I arrived, I had to learn the hard way that it was very difficult for me to get it directly when I arrived. So then last year I decided to quit my job and then become full-time entrepreneur. So with several projects, I opened my own interior design company. Here you can see more or less the timeline. And I have already tried a few things in the beginning when I arrived to China. Also, 2017, I tried to open a company. Also, I did open a company in Panama because I was going to participate in a business in Colombia, something about tourism, nothing related to what I'm doing now or my major, or whatever I did before. But I just wanted to try things. Yeah, last year I decided I was tired of working for others, and I started my own company. Now I have, counting this company in Panama, which is useless because I never used it, I have 3 companies. And yeah, what I'm doing now, what I'm focusing now is in this paddle club. We are actually we saw the opportunity in Shanghai because there are quite a lot of people recently doing paddle, but the market is quite little. I mean, it's a new sport in China. We think it needs time to develop, but it's starting to growing, and we saw the growth that it had in Europe and in the rest of the world, which was amazing. And we thought it could be an opportunity if we start this business here, and if the sport here can grow as fast and as big as in other places, so it could be a good opportunity. So we are just starting, and we open our own club. We invest by ourselves. I was preparing pictures. This is a slide of when we started in the beginning. This was the office. We have to redecorate everything. This was the space. As you can see, is totally empty. And how it was, we were building the curtains. We redecorate the facade of the office. Then we finally had the curtains. Then we increased the surface of the turf for holding events. You can see in this picture. And Paddle is actually, it's for those who doesn't know, it's a racket sport. You can see the rackets here. The balls are similar to tennis. The scoring system is exactly the same as tennis, but the difference is you can play with the walls. Here you can see a picture of this is my wife, in fact, playing paddle. You have some walls around the court that you can play with. I was trying to prepare some pictures, but I really had no time. So to explain you more in detail what is the how to play paddle. But anyway, you can come and visit us, and I will explain you how to play.
That's awesome.
So we introduced this project to the government. With this, I finish of Pudong, and they like it. They like a lot. So they help us to rent this space in Yuanshen Stadium, which is a public place. And then we went ahead and we opened in February. We started running it for 1.5 months, and then lockdown happened. We were quite scared in the beginning because we didn't know what was going to happen. But after the lockdown, the government actually, we felt a big push from the government. All those measures, economic measures, and they also help us promoting. So we got quite a lot of coverage on TV and newspapers. I just put some samples here, but we have more. And since June, middle June, we reopened, and we are trying to promote again to hold events, and we are having more and more people. It's slowly because the market is very slow and people need to know it, but actually we're happy and we have hope and in the future. So basically, this is my introduction.
That's fantastic. Let me just get
I don't know
this.
how to get out of the.
Yeah, I'll help you. I'll give you a hand. Remove spotlight, and I think you can see. Yeah, perfect. So, from a tennis player point of view, which when I was young and handsome, I used to be a professional. It's a charmer, Spanish charmer, and I used to play professionally tennis, and I've been playing a little bit tennis paddle in your place, and I have to say, so much more fun. It's so much more fun. It's faster.
Yeah, it's very funny.
It's so much more fun. And
actually, you always play with 4 people, and it's not like tennis, and you spend more time going to pick up the ball than playing. Actually,
that is true. Tennis is
and you don't need big skills.
Picking the ball. you get to be very good at picking up the balls. That's very true. And okay, so thank you so much for that introduction, Fernando. And let's go ahead with Alicia's self-introduction. Please, Alicia, if you can you share the screen?
Yes, I will share screen. I apologize in advance. I did not prepare something, so I'm showing you something that I have here in the computer, and let's see what is happening. And then another thing, first, I will really need to visit. I have never PayPal, so I'm kind of like, okay, I want to try. After your introduction, I'm like, I really want to try. So. Okay, I think I can share documents. I am not good at this, so if it doesn't go, I apologize for that.
Should be fine. Okay, so Fernando has paused. 1 second. I know how to do that now. Okay, so try again. Alicia.
Sorry.
No problem.
Yes, it's coming now, so I'm coming here. Is it showing? I'm not sure.
It is showing, yes. We can see all your folders, even the very private ones.
Oh, please no, please no.
Oh, what's that picture over there?
Wait, I am completely out right now. I have no clue what's happening, so...
yeah, we can, yeah, if you can click the PDF that you selected, yeah, that one. If you click, then we can see your intro. I think it's opening soon. Maybe trying to open.
Is
Still
it open
cannot
now?
see. We cannot. It says that you pause the screen share. That you posted.
I hold it? No.
You posted. Yes, you posted.
So,
Está pausada.
I don't know why.
Oh.
Okay, let me go back to the meeting and let's see what's happening. Anyways, let's not lose time. If it's not working, it's okay. I'm okay with that.
Sure.
Alicia, you can go take the cursor to the upper side of the screen, and then a bar will come down, and then you will see the button that is resume or on pause or something. It should be
Resume.
on the
Yes.
yes.
Perfect.
Can you see now?
Yes, we can. So if you click on the intro, yeah, that one. Yeah, I think should be able to see the intro, but unfortunately we cannot. Can you go to the button and choose the intro window?
I think I know what's happening. She shared the screen. She would need to share the document. So if you can go to share again and choose reshare, and then choose the PDF file or whatever format it is, should be okay.
Yes.
So share screen is the third button.
Oh, we can see now. We can see now.
You can see now. Yay!
Yes, we can
I made
see.
it!
Yeah. Welcome.
Okay, so now I cannot see myself, so anyways.
No problem. We can see you.
My name is Alicia. I'm original from Cuba. I've been here 16 years. So I'm a professional dancer. Now I call myself an entrepreneur. I'm acting like one because, well, I have a company, so that made me one. Let's say my company is like it's a COVID baby. My company is a COVID baby. I was like full-time working by the time in 2020 when COVID started. And at that time, most of the teachers stay out of the country. So I ended up taking care of most of the company. And I was actually the only working. So that was the moment when I was like, wow, I think I'm doing way too much that I didn't supposed to do. So let's say in that moment I realized, okay, if I'm able to do this one for somebody else, maybe I should do it for myself. This is how Ali Dance come to place, because I was like, okay, I'm doing it anyway, so at least let me do it for myself. And this is what happened. So this is how Ali Dances was created. Foremost, I'm a professional dancer, so as well, I was in the age where I was like, okay, I don't want to dance anymore. It's time for me to actually focus in teaching. And this is what I'm doing. Like, I wanted to create a place that I could teach. I'm not sure if everybody's still there or not, because I cannot see me.
We can see everything and hear.
Okay.
Well.
Good, that's good. So
we see the slide of about us.
Yes, this is about us, and then you can see here, this is a little introduction where it was created. Then this is the space. So we are located in Jinan. We are located in very close to Nanjing Silu station, so it's very convenient to arrive. What we do, we have kids and adult classes. I am graduated from ballet, so of course, like I teach ballet, contemporary and jazz, because a ballet dancer needs to do many different styles. And on top of it, I'm Cuban, so of course there is salsa. There has to be salsa in it.
Absolutely.
And yeah, besides that, well, you can see my little kids in here. As well, I do believe that dancers, they are like sport people as well, so you need to train. So we offer Pilates classes, we offer some not gym classes with weight and things like that, but we are body conditioning, because I think it's very important. Like, and even if you don't want to dance, still you need to move. So we are trying to offer different things like that as well in the studio. We have more services. Like we have, of course, like most of the teachers that work with me, they are like professional dancers as well. And so we can actually put together events and we can do shows and things like that, even if we're not dancing or whatever, but we're able to do those kind of things. We're doing a lot of, for now, we're doing a lot of company events and like dances for companies. Like you can see here, this is my students. They have been teaching them for a year. So every time they have like company events, like Chinese New Year or whatever, they always perform. So I go to their company at lunchtime twice per week. So it's possible to actually have a fun weekday in the company. I'm here to help you with that. Then it's kind of like that. Like I go to their company and they use their lunchtime to do their classes. And then of course, like every time the company have a big party or whatever, they're ready to perform. This PDBT is a little bit also, but here you will find the main teachers. That will be me, and there's gonna be an amazing Spanish teacher as well.
Oh, Shona.
Shona, yes, she's a
Yes.
professional dancer as well. So if you wanna know about Cuban salsa, you have the Cuban here. If you want to know about flamenco, then you have the Spanish over here. So I think this pretty much a little bit of like the company or what we're doing. And for now, during summer, we are doing like more camp for the kids. So usually we work like round, like same as like the schools. So it's kind of like September to June. Then July and August we do camps for the kids, so like they have more free time, so they can come for longer. And the same for adults. So adults, like I have many of my students that are teachers, so they have a lot of free time now. So the schedule changed a little bit, so I adapted that they can come early or whatever. So we have now a special schedule for summer, but in general, like we follow the school year, and I think that's resumed.
Wow. So I didn't know you are working with Shona, which is she's actually a great friend of mine. So that's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's why when we start talking, I told you, you're not a friend of mine.
Yes,
Yeah. She works with me.
I was talking to her yesterday actually, and amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much for the intro. That's great. And so excellent. We go to the part that we all are hoping for, which is the panel of discussion, right? This is where we learn the most and where we benefit the most. So we are going to start with understanding what does it take to become an entrepreneur under the current situation, especially here in Shanghai, which we all know is a little bit weird, right? So you have, let's say you have a great idea, business idea, and you believe it could work. Like everybody, that's how we start, right? But so many people are wondering, so what are the most important steps that you need to take to become an entrepreneur in Shanghai? So based on your experience, what would you say, Adina?
Well, I'm not sure I'm the best person to answer this question because I've been an entrepreneur for 7 years. So I guess I started my business a lot longer than all the other, like the other two speakers. So I came from a non-COVID and then kind of got to COVID, and I've gotten to experience all these stages and seen the transition. I will not talk about the entire transition, but in terms of answering your question, what I would suggest to people is to just not be afraid of getting out of your comfort zone and start doing it. A lot of people are kind of thinking, what if I do that? What if it goes wrong? What if I make a mistake? What if? There's a lot of what ifs, and fine, you can think about things, do a plan and try to prepare as best as you can, but also bear in mind that there's nothing that is fixed, because change has become the new norm. And so you need to become comfortable with change, fast change. And you can do it. That's what you need to consider. You can do it. If you really, really feel that you can solve a problem, and opening a business is the only way that you can do that, just do it. For me, for example, opening a business from the very beginning, it has been a tool. It has not been necessarily, oh, I want to work for myself, so I will do that. For me, it was always about, I have a problem that I need to solve, and I couldn't find in any other company the possibility to solve the problem as I wanted it to, or as I thought I could do, or to get the freedom, if you wish, to maximize my talent. And so for me, opening a business became a tool to do that. So I guess for me, entrepreneurship is more about, once you know that you have a problem that you want to solve for your customer, just do it. Running a business is just a way to get there. And once you understand that running a business is a tool that can also provide revenue for you, because otherwise you would starve, right? And you would not be able to do what you want to do in a financially sustainable way. But once you understand that that's a tool, then you become a lot more creative and just find solutions for whatever issue that you would be facing. And let's face it, problems are going to arise. And I think it's not about being afraid or hoping that problems will not come, but also getting into the mindset, okay, problems will come, how do I solve them? And I'll solve them when they come.
Completely agree.
I would say.
Completely agree with you. Besides, I mean, it's impossible to make any plans now. Impossible. At least semi-long term. I would say that very, very short-term plans maybe, but long-term is impossible. So what about you, Alicia? What would you say about this?
For me, first believe in what you want to do. Believe in whatever is it that you want to do, and ask for help. Listen, ask again, listen. You need to listen. Like, in my experience, I was very sure of what I wanted to do, which I have many friends that are entrepreneurs, which already they have like the tools to start their business, because they study this kind of, like, they study business, they study management, they study all the things or the tools that they actually you expect for an entrepreneur to have and to be successful. So I listen, I ask, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think? And they're like, yeah, this is good, but you need this. And it's like, I don't have this. I don't have time to focus on that. I need to actually create. And I understand what you're saying, and I understand where you're coming for, like, because you study and you have the structure, but I do not have that structure. So what I was doing is, like, for everybody that I was asking things, I was getting what it was important for me, and then it was like, okay, I'm lacking this, so maybe I need to focus in finding somebody that can actually help me with what I'm lacking. And then, like, that is when I started to create it. So you need to ask for help. You need to know what you're able to do, what you're not, and then find the people that want to be there with you and that can help you to create what you don't have. Because we can have an idea, we know what we want, but there is a process. So this is what I did. I asked, and then once I knew what I wanted and I believe in it, even if people tell me now that's not possible, it's like, it is possible. I will find somebody that will actually help me to get there, and this is how I build my business. So the most important thing, that be able to know what you can do and when you need help and where to get it.
Find a balance, right, between listening and also at the same time know when some people want to push you back. Because I completely agree that most people don't really 100% grab or know what you want to do and whether the business that you're going to do is going to work or not. So I completely agree with you. I think it's about getting yourself the people who are knowledgeable and they have experience, especially have experience with business. And if you get all sorts of mixed responses from different people, then you can have an idea of whether the business is going to work or not. If some people say, oh, that's a great idea, I think it could work, then most likely it can work, right? If everyone says, oh, that's a shit idea, and you're probably just not going to make it. Then if 10 people say that, and 10 people, we're talking about people who have done business here, then most likely have to redesign the idea or rethink about it. But yeah, I think finding the balance and is perfect, like you said. And Fernando, what about you? What do you say? We can.
What was the question? What was the question again?
Yes, the question. So many people are wondering what are the most important steps that you need to take to become an entrepreneur. Yes, in Shanghai. Here.
Actually, I think it depends. There's no standard formula.
Yeah, of course.
There's nothing standard, actually. You cannot say you cannot give a path for every single company creation, or because it depends on a lot of things and
a lot of
it
factors.
Depends on the industry. Yes, some business can run faster after 1 year. Some others need 4 or 5 years to really start to work. So,
but as an entrepreneur yourself, and based on your experience, what would you say to another entrepreneur that says, "Oh, I have a great idea. What should I do?" What would you say to this person?
Actually, the best I can do is explain my case. For me, it was trial and error. So I have an idea. I try to put that idea into paper, into numbers. Then everything looks amazing. Then you start to talk to people, and at some point, your idea get totally blocked, or it works. So you go step by step. Is more or less is how it was in my case.
Excellent. That's what I was hoping to hear. So most of people would say just do it, just try and do it, and
like that. I tried, and then at some point you always get blocked.
Of course.
But more or less, this is of course, you can put into the equation all those things about motivation and if it's or not your passion. Sometimes it's not your passion, but you find it's interesting, or and yes, of course, you need help.
Yes.
So at that moment, or you start from the beginning with people, or at one point you need to start to ask for people, as they already mentioned, because you cannot go alone. That's for sure. But
excellent. That's why I was hoping to hear what you just said, and I completely agree with it. And quite a few expats have left China, and it is hard for most people to think that in fact there are many business opportunities waiting here, because we have less competition as well, right? So I would say that to become an entrepreneur, you need to get into the right mindset here. Now, what is the right entrepreneurial mindset to start anything in Shanghai, given the current situation now? So, Alicia, what would you say? What would be the right entrepreneurial mindset to start anything here in Shanghai?
Right now, with the situation, I will say cooperate. You need to cooperate. We entrepreneurs, we should help each other. Even when you think that can be the competition, it can create actually a really nice project. And you need to be able to sometimes say, I need to stop my plans and I just need to survive. And then if I need to step back, I need to step back, right? So right now, I think if you want to create something, maybe it is time to go slow. go step by step. Ask for the help with another entrepreneur, maybe cooperate, maybe start some place or whatever thing that you were not thinking. You need to start thinking of outside the box, outside of whatever you thought that you wanted. Maybe you can gonna get it for sure. It's Shanghai, it's full of opportunities, but maybe right now you need to go around. You need to be more round. That's my advice.
Amazing. I love your idea of the round idea. Really,
I'm Latino. I talk with my hand. It's like it's something that I can stop.
I can see the Spanish speaking people. We do really think very similarly, perhaps because of the environment and the language and so on. It's interesting. Fernando, coming back to you. What would you think? So what is the right entrepreneurial mindset based on your experience to start anything now under the COVID situation? Because you actually started your business under the COVID situation.
Just a little before, but we have to reshape the business. So actually, I think in any situation, you still need to reshape your business again and again, so mostly when you are starting. Because you are trying new things, you realize what you want to give to the clients, but then the clients doesn't want that, and then you realize what they're asking you, so then you need to change a little bit, or you always have to adapt to the situation. So right now here in Shanghai, you need to think in long term, because the situation is quite delicate and there's a lot of uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen. So True. Of course you can life still goes on and business, but now I start to think for someone who's starting, like me, for example, I need to think more in the long term. But then it also depends, as I said before, of which industry you are, or
of course
it depends on many things. But in my case, is long-term thinking. Basically,
long-term thinking and adaptability, perhaps.
Yes.
Impressive. Okay, what about you, Adina? Can you give us some useful advice on the matter?
I will just build upon what the previous speakers have said, and just think that, learn from other people, but remember that other people are always other people. You are you. Other people's situation is their situation. The resources that they have, the abilities that they have, the industries that they're in, it's theirs, it's not yours. What you can do is learn as much as you can, but remember that you need to make the decision by yourself, according to what you want to achieve, according to the resources that you have and that you can rely on, and also the abilities that you have. And of course, wherever you feel like you need support, just ask for it. But at the same time, so again, my situation is slightly different than the other two entrepreneurs, because I guess my line of business is slightly different. But I chose to work alone. And whenever I need support, or whenever I want to so-called hire people, I work on a project basis. So I work on, you need to be an entrepreneur as well. And I work with you on this project where you actually know for sure what you need to achieve and you have measurable results, rather than this employee type of mindset where, okay, you pay me whatever salary and that's what I do. I think another thing that a lot of people need to, if you don't have entrepreneurial experience and you've been working in a company for a very long time, one other thing that you need to change in terms of mindset is that idea that whenever you're working for yourself, you have less responsibilities, or that it's easier than to be an employee. It's not. It's actually, being an employee is easier. It's easier than being a boss.
Way easier. Way easier. I'll just switch to being an employee right now. I've been this close to go like, fuck this. I'm going employee mode, sit in an office, 9 to 5.
We used to sleep so
Lovely.
well when we were an employee.
Have a margarita in the toilet.
a lot of people, again, I hear a lot of people when they want to start a business because they think that, oh, I want to become a boss and I want to slap them. You have no idea what it means to become a boss and to actually be responsible for yourself, because if you don't work, you starve. But you also, if you have employees, you're responsible for other people as well. So anyway, for me, the decision to go working alone has been COVID induced, but also because I do have a broader set of skills than other people might have, just because I have cross-functional experience. And I've worked in all the industries possible, minus business administration. So that I had to do by running my business, which is very tough. But anyway, hopefully I'm getting there. So for me, it was.
Sorry, I interrupt you. If you don't mind me to give you a very short opinion, I don't think you are a loner, because I believe that you're just restructuring what's going to happen, in my opinion, what's going to happen within 10 years, which is the employee is going to disappear because it's not necessary anymore. So I do the same as you do, but the only difference is that I don't believe I work alone. I actually believe that there is almost no one possible to do anything alone. Like you always do a project with other people. Yes, exactly. That would be
independent. So yes. My company works on. I'm not sure if it has become quite popular right now. DAO, the decentralized autonomous organization.
Yes.
So I actually became a DAO before COVID, and COVID caught me being such an organization. I just didn't have a name for it. So if you want, yes, fair enough. I work independent, but also the projects that I work with different people, I try to create opportunities or work in such a way that they work independently as well, like in a network. You know, I have a network of classrooms, but I have a network of people as well. And so we try to be clear. What is your responsibility? What is mine?
Perfect.
How do we put the pieces of the puzzle together so that we get a full picture? So yeah, I guess it's a terminology thing, but yeah, as you mentioned.
It is brilliant. Yeah, that's in fact, I'm really happy that you bring this forth, because hopefully in the future we're gonna do another forum to talk about this, to talk about new structures emerging now, to instead of the typical traditional structure of hiring people, which I think is very, very ineffective. Instead, you work with freelancers or people who have very clear what they know what to do, and you work in a project basis, which is what it should really be happening everywhere in the world. Anyway, so I guess one of the major factors to do business here is right now in Shanghai, is to embrace uncertainty. Like I said, this like a Hollywood movie, embrace uncertainty, right? And what can you do to get ready and even accept uncertainty? How let's start with Fernando this time. Fernando, what can you do to get ready and to even accept this uncertainty here in Shanghai? Is there things that you can do to minimize the impact of uncertainty in Shanghai?
Do meditation,
Yeah.
Try to relax, have a gin tonic at
Drink
night.
less coffee.
A lot of things. No, I think, no, this is tricky actually. I think uncertainty should be in your mindset as an entrepreneur, because we are in a very specific situation in Shanghai with a lockdown, and we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Maybe we get locked again or not.
Yeah.
But this is a very specific and temporary situation. But during business life, during the life of a business, I think uncertainty is always there.
True, but to a certain degree, I would say, to a certain degree, because like we live in a time which is kind of like the uncertainty level is not like the level it was before, right? You could expect, for example, as a restaurant owner, you wouldn't expect that the government comes to your door and say, from today, you're closed. We don't know when it's going to reopen. Sorry. This is something that, there is a level of uncertainty always, but yeah.
It depends on we come back to the same as before. It depends on the industry, the kind of business. It depends on many things. But in general, uncertainty should be part of, should be how you should think about things.
Okay. And what do you do
in everything in life? I think not only.
What do you do to prepare for this uncertainty? In your case,
probably been thinking that's what will happen if I mean, if there's another lockdown, what should I do?
Yes.
And think about it. Sometimes you can find a solution, sometimes you cannot.
Yes.
But you should be always thinking that something's not going to work, and I need to find a plan B or a plan C for everything.
Okay. I see.
But this is very general, because as we said, some people suffer more from this. The restaurants
I understand.
If you close, you close, but you can, some of them immediately started to delivery or start to make a promotion in which all the channels, so they can get some, they can get more clients, sell online. I mean, there's always, you have to go in advance. So uncertainty is something that you should have in mind always. This is my.
Of course, for you, for your industry, it's more difficult because you depend on people coming to.
Yeah, when you have a place, of course, this is. But I don't know. I'm like, for example, I'm gonna create a channel on WeChat, and I'm gonna start teaching lessons at home. I don't know. Just hit your wall.
That is a great idea. I will definitely do that. If you start doing lessons,
people
I'm going
need to reinvent all the time.
Get rid of my belt. The belt I have, I'm gonna get rid of it through your online lessons. I'll definitely do that. And Alicia, would you be able to share your thoughts? What are you doing to prepare yourself for this uncertainty? Is there perhaps the same as Fernando? Are you thinking about doing online lessons or some other ideas that you can share with us?
I actually started doing online lessons during lockdown, and for me it was difficult, but I'm grateful at the same time. It was an experience that I didn't have before, so I did learn a lot. The first few weeks was challenging. It was kind of like, this is new. It was hard to manage in the time. It was hard to manage in the attention of the kids, but then end up being okay. So on that sense, even until this point, I still have some classes online.
Wow, that's good.
Right now I am having offline classes and online classes. So in that sense, I'm kind of like, the lockdown pushed me to do it. It was not a decision. It was like something that I had to do at the moment. For the uncertainty, to be honest, I think it's part of being an entrepreneur. You always have an uncertainty. The thing is, right now, it's not about you. So there is not much options that keep trying, improvise. That's what I do. When I don't know what to do, and improvise. I mean, it can get worse, right?
Yeah, it can. I mean, for some people, certainly in Europe, we all know about Ukraine and other countries that are having trouble, right? And the crisis and prices rising and so on. So I hate to think this way, right? But it is the truth that for some other people, the things have got way more complicated than for us here. So I believe, like you, that adaptability is the key, improvisation, and definitely, like you do, not to put all the eggs on the same basket. So again, doing the online classes is fantastic. This is also something that I'm doing as well, which is great. And coming to Adina, I'm hoping that you can give us some advice on this.
Well, first things first, you can join my webinar on uncertainty tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Oh, wow. I might do it.
That's a nice comeback.
Well,
that's
I mean,
awesome.
You know, that when he said about uncertainty, and I was like, oh, that's a big coincidence.
Can you share the webinar information on the chat here, so people can know about this information and access the webinar?
Yes. Excellent. I will do that.
Yes.
Basically, so environmental psychology, that's the beauty of it. It kind of proposes a type of mindset, a systemic way of thinking about things, and it puts behavior and mindset within the environment, and it helps people understand how different environments and the elements that create that environment influence people's behavior and mindset, whether we're talking from a physical perspective or a social perspective. I think a lot of the issues start from people's misunderstanding of what an environment is and how to define it. I will not give all the details now, because you're very welcome to come in tomorrow to listen to that. It's going to be a bilingual webinar, both in English and Chinese, so that I can be more inclusive, and accommodate more people. But the idea is that it's all about control. We have this need to feel in control. It's kind of like on the Maslow, like the pyramid is at the bottom. We need to feel in control, and that's where anxiety comes from. That's why we feel so anxious in the face of uncertainty, because we feel we're not in control anymore, and we don't know what to do. And so I think for me, it's all about taking a moment, whether that's you're doing it through meditation, whether you're doing through sipping a cocktail, as Fernando was saying, or whatever, right? Or dancing or anything, whatever works for you. Is just understanding, what can I control, and focus on that. What can I do? And stop worrying about the things that you cannot control. Those things are different for different people, because we are living in different environments and we're influenced by different things. But as long as you learn how to identify that, I think it's not going to become a piece of cake, because change is not easy anyway. But as other speakers have said, you have to become comfortable with uncertainty, because that's going to be the norm. You can plan as much as you can, as good as you can, but there's always a level of uncertainty, and as you mentioned earlier, there's going to be more of it in the future, because you never know what will come. You never know if World War III will come. You never know if whatever other now it's COVID, but you don't know what's going to be in the future. So this adaptability is, I think, the new. Before it was EQ, IQ, but now it's AQ, adaptability quotient. So work on that.
Wow. Okay, that's a great advice. I'll remember that. And I would say everyone had to adjust, right? So not just entrepreneurs, but actually everyone who wanted to stay in China and develop their careers, they had to go through changes. And we all had to go through reconsidering our priorities and making few changes in our life. So I wanted to ask, what was the best change you all have made after the lockdown, right? When you went back to work. So beginning with Alicia, what would you comment on this? What was the best change you took after the lockdown?
I think I reduced the amount. I reduced the amount of people in the class. So, which it made me work a little bit more, but it made people mind easy. The first week that we went back after the lockdown, it was amazing. Everybody came in with an amazing energy. Everybody was ready to dance. We were sweating after 30 minutes, like non-stop, no break. Like we were super happy. Then it changed. It was the second week starting to changing, because then they start appearing new cases and they can get locked down and people start getting. So I realized that people needed a change. They needed to feel that, okay, maybe I don't want to be in a class where there is so many people, because you never know. So I reduced the classes, like the people that can attend the classes. So I made the schedule a little bit bigger, but with less people in each class. Then I offer deals in private classes or semi-private, where they can actually bring their own people that they feel close to, that if something happened anyways, it's fine. So this is what I have been doing, and it takes a lot of work, because now I have more classes and with less people. But then what I did is, like, it was something that we both help each other, right? So like, guys, I understand this is the situation, so I can do this. but I need to increase the price as well a little bit. But what I can do in return as well is then I can extend the period of the time of the classes. So let's say if you before buy a membership that will last 1 month, then the same, it will last you now a month and a half. So it gives them like the security of like, if something happened, I'm able to come back. If something happened, I'm always only with the people that I feel comfortable with. So, but it did not take 1 day to get into that conclusion.
Of course not.
Like it really, I can tell you, like it was very, very difficult to see how the first week went super happy, a lot of energy. I was like, I'm ready. And then is when you actually see what was happening. It's like, yes, it was happy because we were free for the first time and we were excited, but the problem is still there. So it took a while.
Also because everyone again started to eat their vegetables.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, so that's a good thing too. And what about you, Adina? What was the biggest change you took, like the most impacting change that you took after when you came back to work?
To be honest, because I don't have an office, I work from home, so
Me too.
It didn't impact me in the way that it impacted those people who have a physical office or a studio or whatever physical location they have. But what the lockdown did for me was to strengthen my idea that the model that the Academy is proposing is the future. It just sped up this, like the need, and people need offline communication. I've heard a lot of people during the lockdown and after the lockdown saying, well, Web3 and metaverse, this is going to be the future and so on. And I kept telling people, dudes, no, that's not, we will not get away from it, but people need face-to-face interaction because that's human species. That's how we developed. And there's a lot of research in neuroscience to prove why is that. That's why online courses are not as are an alternative, but are not as good as face-to-face interaction because our brain actually needs to have face-to-face, mirror neurons. And so, I can talk about it forever. And so that's actually emphasized the need for us to have offline interactions, but to change the way in which we used to think and work on this network decentralized model. And so, for example, one of my the way it has changed a bit or sped up the development of my company, what I'm working on right now is to train facilitators so that they can do what I can do wherever they are. And so wherever they are able to create these learning environments without me being there. And so I want to take the methodology, the framework, and everything so that they can apply that wherever they are. And so one of the things that I found interesting, during the lockdown, neighbors were helping each other buy food and so on. And I thought, why not learn together, right? Like, why don't we have our compound as a big classroom? And so I had started a challenge, but then other things came, and I wasn't able to finish or to go through with it at the moment. But I feel like that's going to be the future. Like people are going to, you're going to get closer to your neighbor, and you're going to do all the things that you would have done with friends from across the city, but you will just do it with your neighbor. And I think that's another mindset shift that we need to have. I think people have started to, but I think for some it's taking a bit longer to understand that all the things that you were able to do with all your friends that maybe live in the other side of the city, you're able to do that with the people around you if you just take a moment to meet them, to have a conversation with them. And the lockdown has proven this to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, and to me as well. I believe face-to-face talk and meetings, and like to have the forums as well. We hope to get back to the offline forums as well. I think it's absolutely necessary. It's the human interaction that we need, right? And what about you, Fernando? What's your opinion? I know that you have taken the change of doing thinking or preparing the online classes, but apart from that, is there any other change that you would like to talk about?
I'm not sure about the online classes. That was kind of
okay. That's a
But
pity.
I mean, you can never say no. Sure. Sure. We were focusing in the beginning to fill the courts with people because our business model is very simple. We rent hours, and so we need people to rent, and that's it. So we realized that was going to be difficult. We knew it was going to be difficult because the market is very small. But after the lockdown was like, wow, what's going to happen? Because even if we go out, we are not sure everybody can go out, and maybe half of the city will be still. But so we were talking with people, and we realized actually that companies need a lot of space for doing events, team buildings, and these kind of things. And we have this space next to the courts, big space. So we immediately thought, okay, we have to do something with this. Then we increased the surface of turf. We bought some. We invest a little more money, bought some tents and things, and we refocus our mind to give service to companies.
Oh, okay. B2B.
Yes. And
focus on B2B.
I think that was the right decision because we are starting to have clients, and of course we maximize the
space,
the hours value. And and another thing we really realized is that we needed a lot of promotion, which in the beginning we were not focusing so much on, but then we really started to do promotion, and we also got the help from the government because we are in public space and they like the project, and it's something that can help the people come out of their home and do some sport, be outside. So everything we did this turn, and I think we were right. So yeah, basically that's what we changed. We refocused.
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I actually have talked to so many people who have the idea of opening businesses here in Shanghai, and they think that it would be so much better, like we mentioned before, that it would be so much better than go to work for others. Now, in my experience, there are so many challenges, same as your experience, and not just that, but also every industry has its own different challenge, right? So my next question would be, from your experience, what are the unique challenges that entrepreneurs face in your industry that other entrepreneurs perhaps wouldn't face? So for example, in your industry, Fernando, we know that the biggest challenge would be to get, like, if there is a lockdown, of course, people cannot come to play paddle, right? But let's say that now we are back to work. What other challenges do you face that other people perhaps don't face?
Actually, to be honest, I I haven't think too much about this in my industry. We basically, as I said, we rent hours. So what can affect to this? I don't know, that company, for example, there are internal factors, but thinking about the external factors, the economy become bad, and the companies start not to put money on, for example, team buildings or events.
Okay.
I don't know, it could be a big problem for us. Also a new lockdown.
New lockdown could be of
because
course.
the physical place and the online place is about that. So
it's different. It's totally different.
It's different.
Yeah,
online,
of
you
course.
can keep going. If we close, we close. So
absolutely.
I have not much
I understand.
to say because I really didn't think about it.
What about you, Alicia? What would you say? Is there any particular challenge that you would like to address that perhaps other entrepreneurs will not have?
Well, as Fernando say, when you have a physical place, the first thing that you're thinking about it is like you need to pay the rent, and then you need to pay the people that work for you, and then I mean you need to eat as well. So that's the first thing. So when you are in a service, in kind of like a service business, it's about the people. The biggest challenge for I think now is I currently have lost 20% of my students. They have left the country. So
wow,
this is kind of a starting over. Not really, because still have another, but then you need to somehow bring those people back. But like especially in what is dancing in my industry, it's like there is always something new trending. So what people wanted to learn 2 weeks ago, now they saw a video in TikTok and it's like, I like that. And you're like, but and then you get into that point where you're like, either you need to follow your like your idea of what you wanted to do, and then from there maybe go slower, or you need to change it all the time. But if you change it all the time, it's not sustainable. There is no way that you can work like that. So those would be for my industry, is that it's like how to keep up with what you want to do with, like, let's say the classic learning, the things that we actually how you studied the business, following the trend without becoming like a train that it goes wherever people wants to go, and try to keep the old clientele but bring new people as well with their new ideas. So
interesting. I would say there is not, well, it's not an easy fix, but it is definitely what we mentioned before with Adina, to work based on project basis would be something perhaps good for you, not to eliminate what you are doing now, but like let's say that someone likes a lot of people like TikTok kind of dance, then you can always find some hot shot that dances really well this kind of music, and make a project in your company based on let's say one course or whatever.
I
and then
already
get
do
margin.
I already do it. Most of my teachers, they are freelancer. So
that's great.
of course they do have, because it's not like a project that you come one time and that's it. So of course they do have their salary, but they always, it all depends on what they do to get more. The more students that they can bring, if they do their own promotion, that it works for me and it works for them. So this is how my students, like, sorry, my teachers work. I do not want to have because I was a worker and I was working in as like a teacher before. I don't like and don't want anybody to feel that, oh, I need to go work. Oh, no. You wanna come work, it's because you like it. You wanna teach, it's because you like it. You like your students. You're going to do, like, follow the standard of the company, but do something that make you happy. I don't want a t-shirt that comes with an, this is the last thing I want to do in my life. No, thank you. Go home. I cancel the class.
So it's definitely passion, having passion for what they do, and share this passion with the students is absolutely important. I have students on my own, so I do online classes, and I know actually that is a very, very important thing to have. What about you, Adina? Is there something that you would like to share with us related?
Well, I think it's if you're in because, well, I do consultancy, but I also do workshops, trainings, and I think one of the things that happens in this industry right now with the lockdown and social media is like too much information, and you do promotion, but just people don't see it because a lot of people are overwhelmed. Your potential client is overwhelmed with information and all the amount of free stuff available out there. And it's people don't see the value between something free and something paid. And I think that's the challenge that a lot of people have, including myself. But I think for me in this situation is also becoming, yes, keeping in mind that you need to survive, but also not falling into that because everybody's giving like offering free stuff. I need to do that to attract people, because if everybody gives free stuff, in the end is going to be like the client is going to be, if you don't pay me, I will not come, right? So because they get so much free stuff, then why should they choose you? I think it's all about keeping that balance between understanding what is the value that you offer and putting that value out there, but also standing out from the crowd among all the free stuff and all those trainings and all those things. Because another problem that I see right now in China is that training has become, so it used to be a booming business, and still a lot of people are doing that for the purpose of making money. And once you're competing with the Chinese, it's a bit of a challenge because there used to be a lot of investment and a lot of burning money to attract people. And so a lot of people use the free stuff to attract people, to attract the numbers. So in that context, it's really, really hard to kind of bring the quality out and make people understand what is the difference between what you're offering and what is the difference between something else and the free stuff and apps and whatever. So I think that's the challenge. I found my way around it because I do work in a niche industry, environmental psychology, that nobody has heard of. And the downside of that is that you have to spend a lot more time explaining what that is. But at the same time, what's that? I want to know, right? And if people are curious, they will come and ask you. And you know for sure who you should be talking to because people are curious. If people are not curious, okay, you're not curious. I will not waste my time talking to you right now because you're not ready for my services or whatever. So for me, it has also become a way to filter who I should talk to and when, and talk about what. And so that's a bit about my experience with the challenges in my industry.
Everyone who's doing online business, because my business is great partly online, I think suffers this problem. It's the same to me as well. I spend also a lot of time helping in the Spanish speaking community, people who have trouble and they need that, sometimes they just come to me and how do I do this, how do I do that? And I found myself sometimes spending 20-30 hours a week doing that, and which is crazy. But but we also feel good on sharing our knowledge and our experience, and knowing that I would say at least 50% of these people are very grateful. Yes,
David,
Fernando?
let me add something because I didn't answer the question and I was thinking about it. I just wanted to add a little bit. Actually, I know what's the biggest challenge of my industry is. Sport industry is a huge industry. It's like probably dancing industry. There's a lot of people dancing. Then you have different sports, like you have different dance, like you have classic dance, Latin dance, or whatever. So the biggest challenge actually is to create this new market, or to create or to make grow this little market into the big sport markets, right? So because right now the few companies that are making paddle, they all challenge, talking about in this industry, they all challenging the same problem: is how to create the market, how to promote the paddle so it become a more popular sport and more people will enjoy it. I mean, we will practice and enjoy it. So yeah, just wanted to add something.
That is education, right? Educating people to let them know that. I think the best way you can do is just let them try it. Because when I didn't play paddle until you allow me to go there and you say, just come and play with us. And I found this to be so much more fun.
Yeah, we count on that because we really feel that everybody who can to try, they all like. people who have played tennis, people who didn't play tennis, because it's really funny. It's really funny.
It is. And I believe this can be on every industry. So if you have a niche, in my case, also a niche, because I do B2B and B2C as well, but mainly B2B to teach companies Chinese and teach them about the Chinese culture and so on to enter the market. So sometimes I just do it for free for 1 or 2 hours to let them feel how the classes are and so on. So which is good, and I always get people interested in the classes. I bet that Alicia is probably doing the same. People just come to the class maybe to try for half an hour or for one whole lesson to try the classes. So this is a way of educating people when they don't know what it feels like, right? What it feels like to do that.
But in that sense, I totally agree with what she was talking before. It's about the free. Like there was a moment where everybody was doing like free classes, and I was totally against it. And I kind of say, okay, I will try twice. And for me, it was totally like unworthy. Not because of the situation. It's like when you come to a place and you know you need to pay, you're actually gonna pay attention. And you're actually gonna think, am I paying for what am I paying? When you are not paying for the class, it's like, why would I pay attention? Why would I actually do anything? It's free, right? True. And so I do trials, but I don't do free trials anymore.
In my case, it's the same. I was thinking recently about that. Yeah.
Reducing the price considerably for the trial, just like
of course.
Exactly.
It's like
you can reduce the price
because
but one thing
it makes
sorry. One thing is to give a free service, and another thing is to give a good service, but
a good discount. Yes. A good discount. I completely agree.
Basically. But a free service is totally out. It's totally is the people think they don't pay, so whatever they
think it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Also, some people they appreciate, but in general, I was thinking it's better to I'm giving you a good service, I'm giving you a super good discount, but you have this. I mean, you have to think you're paying for something.
Of course, because in your case, especially your case, you're paying rent. And you gotta pay that. It's not so easy to offer free service when you have to pay the rent and so on, right? When there is a cost, very huge cost involved.
But it's not only, I don't think only you're paying for the rent, you're paying for the knowledge. For example, in fair situation, there are not so many business doing what he's doing. There is not many paddle. So if you go there for a trial and you're interested, either you get that or maybe 2 or 3 other companies. So that knowledge of somebody explaining you what it is, if you don't know what it is is worth paying for something, right? Because you're not just paying for play something that you know. You will go play tennis if you know how to play tennis or squash or whatever. If you go there, it's because you want to learn something new. So you're actually not only paying for the rent, you're paying for the knowledge.
Very true. Absolutely true. So I know I have talked about this before in past forums, but I find it quite funny when people say, I want to open my own business in Shanghai mainly because I want to have more time for myself. I actually have recently someone saying that. And so my next question, before this is going to be, unfortunately, the last question before we offer people the Q&A, the possibility to ask you questions if anyone would like to ask. So how to handle long working hours and the extra stress without breaking apart? Because as you know, both the three of you know, being an entrepreneur in here is definitely not a way to work less. It's a straight path to work the hell out of your working hours. Work as, of course, if you are happier working those hours, but definitely you are working way more hours than if you work for other people, in my opinion, anyway. So what would you say, in your case, Fernando? What would you say about this? How do you manage long working hours?
Long working hours?
Yes.
I don't handle.
I
I just don't handle. I don't think there's anyone. I mean, it's difficult. It's maybe
who needs to sleep?
For sure, coffee and something I have. Something good I have is like doing what I'm doing now. I spend a lot of time outside because I have to prepare many things, the course, sometimes coaching, sometimes, for example, today we have an event in 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. We have an event. We're going to have the TV coming here for a live broadcast. There's going to be like a lot.
Oh, I think the TV broadcast started already. As soon as he said TV broadcast, that's it. That's out. Thank you, Fernando, for coming. See you next time. And
sorry.
And Fernando, can you continue?
Sorry, I was cut. No, I was saying that the fact to be outside, it changed a little bit your mind. You are right now it's too hot, but I'm doing physical work, and it's kind of different because when you're doing physical work, if you have a list of tasks, you just need to follow, and your mind is like kind of more free. So it's not that hard. Then you can keep on doing stuff on the computer but yeah, this is more or less, I think it become easier, but of course it's super hard, and just coffee and try to stay awake.
Interesting.
And if I'm home, probably take a nap.
Yeah. Oh, that's I mean, I'm Spanish and I should be napping every day. I've never napped in my entire life until I became an entrepreneur, which I do now almost every day, just for 20 minutes.
Just very little, but
super helpful.
Totally reset your brain.
Yeah, it does. It does. To me, it's like I didn't understand this concept until I actually one day I just free my mind, and I slept for only 20 minutes because it's what I saw a TED talk, and I tried to do what the guy offered, the advice that he offered, and it really does work. It really helps so much. So long hours, have a nap every day, 20 minutes.
Also.
Yeah,
that will help.
Beer recently I've been checking out the benefits of beer. Anyway, Adina, what would you say?
Well, actually, for me, I really love what I'm doing. I'm among the lucky ones, I guess, to have turned my passion into my work. So I always say, like, my lifestyle is my work is my lifestyle. And so I don't get bothered by working long hours because I really enjoy what I'm doing. And sometimes I relax through work. And I need to explain what that means is because, there are moments of the day and also as an entrepreneur, you need to do a lot of things. Sometimes there's more intensive cognitive effort because you're writing proposals, you're doing stuff. Sometimes you also need to do things like Fernando was saying, like includes more physical labor and so on. And I think for me, it's more about understanding what time of the day I'm more productive in doing what, and just kind of arranging my schedule in such a way that I can maximize. I'm more productive in the mornings, and so I leave the mornings I don't have meetings in the mornings. I try to avoid any type of communication with anyone in the morning or even checking my phone, and that's what I dedicate and do. Like if I have to write articles, if I have to do stuff where I need to focus. And all my meetings, all the the graphic design that I need to do, or things that don't require too much cognitive effort, I leave them for the afternoon because I'm tired anyway, right? But I still need to talk to people, I still need to have meetings, I still need to go to different places. So I just leave that because I do that more on autopilot. I don't need to think too much about that. So I think it's also about like understanding what works for you, because some people are more productive in the morning, some people are more productive in the evening.
True.
And so it's all about understanding what you need to do, planning a bit, but also being ready to like switch if change happens. But I think for me it's all about understanding how you work best and trying to maximize that as much as possible within the industry or the schedule that you have to work with. Sometimes, you know, this is different depending on industry. In my field is like this, and I feel I found what works. But it might be different for you know, when you're dealing with dancing classes or sports or
of course. Yeah, in my case, it was all down to change my lunch and stop eating carbohydrates. Just that. So I don't eat carbohydrates on lunch, and I went from like having a very sleepy afternoon after carbohydrates. I was super sleepy. I just couldn't focus well. I had to, like you, I had to put all my important tasks in the morning and close to everybody. Not. I would switch off almost like my phone, just put it in silence and do everything in the morning. But then in the afternoon, I wasted a lot of time until I had very light meals and I could continue. Like just that stupid decision impacted quite a lot a few years back until now. And what about you, Alicia? What did you do to handle these long working hours?
I spoil myself. Once, at least every 2 weeks, I give myself a day off. No fun, nothing. Unless it's an emergency and the people that know me well know where I live and they would knock my door, I don't open my phone. That's it. I literally give myself a day. I call it. I have a cat, so I call myself like the cat day, where I'm like just lying around. I just move from a furniture to the other, and this is every 2 weeks I give myself that day, which is like, if I couldn't fix this, I will fix it tomorrow, and if it's gonna fix tomorrow, well, we'll see what's gonna happen, but I need my time. So this is what I do every 2 weeks. And the another thing, I schedule myself, even though I'm dancing or whatever, but like I schedule myself always like a workout during the day. So usually in the moment where I feel more stressed or whatever, I just take 30 minutes. I find a video on YouTube or whatever, like, or I try some classes, and I just have half an hour where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna train. I'm just gonna punch some things or run or whatever. So 30 minutes where I'm like taking all that stress that I have accumulated during the day. Then I get a shower and go back to work, and it's kind of like, okay, so the stress that this is what I'm doing. I'm scheduling myself my time, so I actually don't explode out of it.
So from this, I gather an important information to tell to any entrepreneur, any entrepreneur or person who wants to to be an entrepreneur here in Shanghai. If you're looking for more time, one day every 2 weeks, that's what's going to happen.
It works for me. It really works for me. There are the days that people text me in the morning, and 3 hours later I haven't replied. They know.
That would
she's
be
not gonna reply.
One whole day for me every 2 weeks. That would be an extreme luxury. So I have my Thursday nights where I play Celtic music in a pub, in a Celtic music session that I play in a pub with the violin, and that's what I get, like Thursday nights, where it's my night, right? But it's what you do, right? Just get one day off every 2 weeks. I get one night every Thursday night. I
just make it longer. You just put it little by little.
That is great. That is great, and this is also great for people who want to do who want to do business here in Shanghai, to let them understand that when you become an entrepreneur, two things gonna happen. Either whether you like it or not what you're doing, because Adina loves what she's doing. I love what I'm doing. I really like it, and most likely all of you probably love it, right? But definitely getting more time for yourself it's a no-no. Has not really, but it depends on what is the perception of what you think about getting time for yourself. Because if you think about time for yourself, if you think about it as a time where you are enjoying your life, then maybe being an entrepreneur could be like doing what you really like the whole day, so you are really getting time for yourself the whole day, right? So some people are like that. So that's it depends on you, but yeah, for most people it's like a lot of work and a lot of challenges and so on. And so regrettably, we don't have much time left, and we passed even the time of the panel discussion. We have to end here, and we are going to give the audience the chance to ask questions if they would like. So if anyone in the audience has any questions, please write it down in the chat, and let me check, see if there are any. Please write it down in the chat if you have any questions. So does anyone in the audience have any questions?
Maybe it's easier
today?
For people to raise their hands if they have to, and they just
they
unmute
could
themselves, and it's easier.
Since today, we could do that as well. If anyone would like to raise their hand and ask any questions.
Catherine is trying.
Catherine, go for it.
Thank you, David. Actually, I have two questions for three guest speakers. First one is, how would you define success personally? So, I mean, success is personal, in my opinion. So probably I want to know your success, your definition of success. And second of all, so are you satisfied with the current life and business situation, and why?
Excellent. Thank you so much. Let's start with Adina, please.
So I'll start with the definition of success. For me, success is being able to do what you feel passionate about, and to create value. I feel like, you have that drive, and because you're happy doing what you're doing, a happy mind is going to be a lot more successful and a lot more creative than so we have this idea that I need to be successful first and I'll be happy. No, you need to be happy first, and you need to be at peace with what you're doing, and you will be a lot more successful. There's a lot of research to show that. But whatever works for you, whatever you like, and what makes you happy, that, as you mentioned, each person has to decide that for themselves. I know that in China, a lot of people define success according to the amount of money that they have in their bank account. For me, money doesn't matter. For me, money is just a tool to survive and to do what I want. But if I die tomorrow, money will not follow me in my in the ground. And so I don't work for money as a goal. I work for the meaning and the value that I do, but I don't work for free because I need to survive. So even though David was saying earlier that sometimes he spends so much time helping people and so on, I try to put boundaries and tell people clearly what I can do to support and what I cannot do to support because I need to eat. And so I think for me, that's my personal definition of success. And the second question was, sorry, can you repeat that?
Yes, you're muted. Yeah.
The second question is, are you satisfied with the current business situation, and why?
I try to keep myself grateful for everything that I have. It can always get worse. And so for me, complaining it won't change anything. Sometimes I do complain, but that is a coping mechanism. That is a stress relief. And so I do that for half an hour and it's like, shit, whatever. But then exactly, just as a release mechanism, because we, some people are boxing, some people are dancing, some people are crying. You have stress and you gather that stress and you need to get it out. But then I do that only as a coping mechanism, and I move forward, and I try to keep myself always in that mindset. If things didn't work out as I planned them, maybe this is fate's way or God's way, or however you want to call it, Buddha's way, or it doesn't matter. It's life's way of telling me that I was going on the wrong path and there's a better option for me. I just need to find it. I just need to keep open and to find the opportunity of whatever comes my way. And for me, I found that type of mindset is helpful, and it keeps me in a grateful mindset, but it also allows me to see opportunities that I couldn't see before. And that's also a way to keep myself away from anxiety and stress, and always be grateful for what I have. And I think, yes, I'm happy with what I have, because I don't know what would have been otherwise.
Can be way worse.
Exactly. And there's no point in stressing about things that I don't know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's my feeling.
What about you, Fernando? What is your definition of success, apart from 5 or 6 beers and other stuff that we share, you and me, we share? Apart from that, well, everybody knows what we think about success, right? But
I think there are several levels, or I don't know if call it level, but I mean, there's the personal success. I mean, from personal point of view of your life. I think this is like a topic, very general, and for me, it would be actually when you become entrepreneur, because I mean, linking the with what we were talking before, when you become part of your personal life, kind of in a higher or lower degree. So and then when you're starting a business, like in my case, it's become a very huge part of you. So it's like linked. So now when I think about my personal success, I mean my life, the first thing I think is, okay, I want to make my business success. And what is that? Is that I can make my business run. I can see here every day full of people playing, clients who come back because they're happy and they like. So it's kind of linked. I guess at one moment, I mean, if I totally try to separate that, of course, it's like, I think that's human. It's like having a good life with more or less money, but enjoy, be happy, healthy. But right now, starting the business is a huge part of it. Become personal, right? So I want my business to be successful.
I do think that what you mentioned is actually it has a lot of scientific basis, because I recently been researching a little bit about success and about happiness, and there is a lot of research pushing towards happiness and success being something more like a flow, like something flowing rather than achieving something, or rather it's more like the enjoyment of and the feeling of things flowing, right? Things flowing. So I understand your feeling, because I do actually have this kind of feeling as well. I'm a goal-oriented person, yes, of course, every entrepreneur has to be, but at the same time, I'm more inclined into the flow of knowing that your business is flowing and it's going well and things are going well, right? And to me, that's also kind of like the feeling of success. And what the second question, I believe it was
about the situation,
the satisfaction.
Right now, right?
Yeah, are you satisfied?
I think I'm unsatisfied.
Yeah,
because what I said, because when I'm starting the business, when you see there's no people, how can you feel satisfied? Of course,
and
I'm
not
satisfied.
enough salads
about my life
around.
About my life, I'm satisfied because I'm doing something I like, and it's okay because I choose it and I like it. But about the situation, I'm unsatisfied. But I think unsatisfaction is also what pushed me to improve, to make to improve my business.
Get out of your comfort zone.
We come again to the link of both personal and so it's like this unsatisfaction that push you to improve, because you want to get satisfied of what you're doing, and you are always thinking about that moment where your business is running well. And but from another point of view, I also think I cannot be always waiting for a moment where things are going perfect. So I still need to think about the present, if what I'm doing is okay, and try to enjoy the moment. No, you have to find this balance. That's it.
I completely agree. what about you, Alicia? What is your definition of success?
I totally agree with what you guys were talking about, like is connected with your work. Like the successful is very connected to your work. It happened to me. But for me, successful, I focus in the little things. Of course, you always have the big idea of what you want to achieve. You have that thing that you say, once my business do this, or once I get to this, or I get this, always when I completely gonna be successful. But I think successful for me is little things. Is the little project that you do and you're like, oh wow, look, it was nice. And then you go home and you're feeling like, oh, like it was maybe something very stupid, but that you feel like I achieved something today. And you go home and you're ready for like what I'm gonna do tomorrow. So for me, this is how I try to define my successful. It's about the little things. This project that I'm going to be here, this project that I'm going to do there, and those little things, then it became the big thing for me, until actually, yeah, the big picture, until you get into that moment that people they think that they can touch successful, like with money or with like a car or with whatever that people define successful in the general idea. That is not my idea, but let's say how people perceive what successful is. So for me, it's the little things. For me, it's going to work and have a new student that sign up because they really enjoyed the class. For me, it's having messages with my students like, I cannot come, oh no, and this. Like, they remember, like, those little things for me are successful.
Wow, I do feel the same as well. I think you are absolutely right in that way of feeling success, and I hope you continue feeling this way. I mean, a lot of people change through the time. You know, success is something also that changes. Sometimes you start thinking about success in terms of the money, especially if you have kids. I have kids. I have sometimes my success it becomes about my kids. You know, it becomes about like looking at them and feel like that you can see them happy, that you can provide for them and things like that. Then you realize that success is changeable as well, you know, it's changeable. And what about the satisfaction? Are you satisfied with the current situation right now?
I wouldn't say no. I don't think I'm satisfied right now. But I am not satisfied not because of me, it's because of what I cannot achieve at the moment, right?
Exactly.
For example, for me, in March, before lockdown, I was ready to open my second location, which then lockdown happened. And it's kind of like, that was something that I was very looking forward to. That it might happen. I know it might happen. I'm still working on that. But I know it's going to take longer now, or maybe, I don't know. So I am satisfied because already I was having this kind of like little successful coming into my way, where I was already celebrating it, but now I don't have it. So am I satisfied? Yes, I think I'm satisfied for what I'm doing in the situation. I am doing the best I can do in the situation, and it's working so far. But that doesn't mean that I am completely satisfied, because satisfaction doesn't come only from one side.
Yeah, in fact, I believe that what Catherine was trying to get from us is whether we are satisfied or not with the current situation, business situation. So in this, I would say, at least for me, I'm definitely not satisfied. I think there is so much more than the government can do, which is doing. I can see that the government is doing. Fernando, for example, the government is helping a lot in his adventure, right? And for me as well, I have this fantastic project. I have the ability now and the luck that I can help people around me that are like people like yourself to promote the business, to open like in our channels to help you to share your knowledge and to share also your experience with other people and let them learn how you adjust through this situation, which is I would say is really amazing value, I would say. And unfortunately, we are getting already to the time that we need to stop. Unless there is some more question. Is there anyone else who would like to ask any more questions among the audience? I don't get anyone raising hands or anything. Not yet, no. Okay, so if no more questions, I'm afraid we do have to stop here. So what we do is about building a community, right, that can make a strong impact on people who want to do business here in Shanghai or anywhere here in China. So of course, we have a WeChat group, which I believe they already shared the QR code. And people among the audience who would like to enter the group, they can scan and enter. Please do try to follow our accounts, and so it can help us a lot. It can really help us. And well, this brings us to the end of the webinar.